Welcome to the Great Wrestling Debate.
I think they made a smart move and pulled the plug on that whole, Big Show New Year's baby idea. I think instead what it turned into was the literal rise of Wade Barrett, Bad News Barrett.
Oh my god.
Doing the...
Yeah, for a second I thought we were going to get another spinner Woody marathon because Booker T's been doing a lot of that shows.
And now, here's Tyler Wood.
Yes, and as we announced all with Big Show this past week, he came out after Brock Lesnar.
Mm-hmm.
So how about that? He was, just last week we thought maybe he was going to be in this, New Year's baby, role, and now here he comes out to Brock Lesnar and gets the better of Brock Lesnar, and
Yep.
it was a pretty eventful old school Raw.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
With the return of the one and only Jake the Snake Roberts.
Yeah, along with other guys. Yeah,
yes.
Many other guys, certainly. But yeah, I mean, so yeah, let's go through this old school Raw here. The first Raw of 2014 began with a Ric Flair segment, of course, with Randy Orton, and of course John Cena came out, and
yep.
It was, what was whatever. Well, Randy Orton walks out, and that was just whatever segment, I guess. I don't know.
It wasn't anything unique.
Nothing. Yeah.
It wasn't like anything came out
Nothing.
of it. I was expecting a match maybe out of it or something.
I think I missed it. And
maybe an RKO, but
I mean, I missed it because I tuned in a little later. But when they showed the replay, I was like, well, then I didn't miss much. I'm like, oh, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was switching back and forth between the Florida State Auburn game all night.
Yeah.
And it got it. Which I'm curious how the ratings are going to reflect that.
BCS championship.
Because ESPN went mega cast that night. You had the ESPN one, and then you had the ESPN 2 where they had like Johnny Manziel was talking for how they go to ESPN News and they have like all these coaches are like doing like analyzing every play, breaking it down. ESPN Classic was like no commentary, just the natural sounds of the game.
Yeah.
So ESPN went all out. They probably crushed Raw in the ratings. I'm taking it.
Yeah, at least it took a hit.
I was switching between South Park, Big Bang, and that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whenever there was a commercial on Raw, I switched over.
Yeah, so.
And the Divas match, I skipped that one.
Yeah, so slowly Raw worked its way to, bigger things.
Yes. And it needed to.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously. Obviously, Brock Lesnar was once again on this edition of Monday Night Raw, as we said.
Well, it was advertised ahead of time. Paul Heyman did bring up an interview.
Right.
That's that manly cry.
Yeah. And Mark Henry once again comes out to Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
He's probably starting to regret that.
Soundly defeated.
Just ass kick.
This time, the Kimura lock. I mean, I don't know what Mark Henry's going to be doing now.
No.
He might be off TV for some time. And apparently he was, he had his arm wrapped up.
Well, they were hyping up too. Like the reason why Lesnar let him get in the ring this time is because he was injured,
Yeah.
But still, Brock Lesnar taking him down and just kicks his ass right away.
But then on his way out to the ring, of course, Big Show comes out, and
he's not happy.
Yeah, he doesn't look too happy. And again, this is just a couple weeks removed from the whole promo.
Him wearing a diaper on.
Oh my god!
Commercial.
Yeah, still fresh in our minds there. But he comes out and Lesnar works his way into the ring and lets him come, and then he kind of cowers away, but then Paul Heyman just for the distraction, Lesnar comes back in the ring and tries to cheap shot Big Show, but Big Show gets the better of him and throws him across
in the corner and just stares him down.
Right, yeah. So, I mean, I guess, the question here is, what does this lead to now? Does it, lead to a match at the Royal Rumble between them, or what?
I'm guessing.
I mean...
What else are you going to do?
Supposedly, Lesnar has signed signed a new contract, actually. Right. So he's got more dates on the table than originally thought in that. So... I guess WWE figures they'll use him more for WrestleMania season now.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean that makes sense. We'll put him Willie over, have him F5 the Big Show.
Right. Yeah. And he hasn't competed at the Royal Rumble last year, so yeah. Maybe
let's have a third time breaking that ring.
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah.
Jeez.
Maybe we'll see another ring break. I don't know. But yeah. I mean, I thought it was interesting, and second week in a row now, Lesnar was on TV. So I mean, who knows? Maybe. Maybe we'll see, him continue to show up, or maybe in spurts.
I don't see him back next week, but I do see Big Show challenging him to a match.
Maybe the week before the Rumble. Maybe maybe there'll be a challenge next week.
I mean, usually the Rumble match card pretty usually I think last year was only 4 matches total.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I said, the Raw match itself takes up a lot of time.
Right, yeah.
So it's going to be a short card either way.
Right.
But, I think people always wonder, like, how big do you go in the card? Do you go small? Because there's only one match that people really give a damn about, and that's the Royal Rumble match.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, some people will complain about this feud because, we've seen it over 10 years ago or whatever. I'm not too complainative about it. Because really, I mean, if they had Lesnar come back this early and challenge for the WWE Championship, he wouldn't be until at least Elimination Chamber anyways. At least they're going to have him do something, apparently, maybe at Royal Rumble. Yeah. And if they're not having anything really with Big Show going on, that was made clear, in recent weeks. So yeah, I mean, put him against Lesnar, and I think the thing here is that, it's kind of like Big Show back in the day was like the heel to Brock Lesnar in the feud. Now it's like, it's a new Big Show too, different.
I think Lesnar's, this is going to be done to show Lesnar's strength pretty much.
Right, yeah.
To show how bad of a man this guy can be.
Right. Obviously, Big Show has nothing to really gain out of this, obviously, and Lesnar does, building up to WrestleMania. So
yeah, and like I said, he's on a 2-match win streak. He beat Triple H and he beat CM Punk, and those are 2 big names to beat right now. So being Big Show just keeps adding to that record, and also validates his claim of, well, if he can beat a giant, who else is going to get in the ring with him then, pretty much?
Yeah, and since he came back, in 2012, I mean, he's been facing, guys who are, either like close to his size or smaller. Nobody at his size. So
the CM Punk
makes
match,
sense.
that dude was
So
CM Punk's trying to make it competitive was pretty good on his part there. Because when you see these guys stare off, it's just like, oh god, the size difference is just mind-boggling.
So now it's a different dimension here. He faces a guy who's bigger than him. Yeah. Since his comeback. So yeah, I mean that refreshes things a little, and it'll probably just add to the Royal Rumble card, anyways, instead of maybe Big Show being in some uninteresting match. So.
Or even just being in the Royal match is just a target for somebody else to get eliminated.
Yeah. So that works. It works with me. And then of course the main. Well, I mean, you had all these legends throughout the night. I don't know what you guys thought of comebacks and.
Well, I like Too Cool's return. That was good.
Yeah, that was a nice one.
Because they said, I think, what was it? Mike Cole said 13 and a half years, something like that.
Yeah.
Since all three were in the ring.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
And Scotty 2 Hotty still, I mean, that guy is in good physical shape for crying out loud.
He's the best guy there.
Still doing the worm. And
well, hell, even when he did a kick up that the Rock used to do, that looked pretty impressive too.
Yeah.
Brian Lawler, I'm so glad, I guess he's off the drugs finally too. There's a lot of former drug addicts that have come back.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's see Brian Christopher, Grandmaster Sexy, aka Brian Lawler, back. Jerry wasn't there.
Yeah, stomach virus.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Yeah. So obviously get better.
Yeah, hopefully.
Jerry Lawler, but yeah, I mean, there's something.
It's
that time of the season anyway. Some people, I don't know.
But you have as you had Rikishi there. I mean, to me, the one that sold it pretty much was the Jake the Snake Roberts return.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it was something that DDP, how he even went as far as last year at the Rumble. They wanted. He kept saying, Jake's better. He's so better. He should get a surprise entry in the Rumble match. Just get that 1 second of fame, pretty much.
Yeah.
They get eliminated. But, yeah, no, I mean, I thought the Mean Gene Oakland comment about the WWE talk line was pretty hilarious.
Yeah.
Because back in the day when there was no internet, those talk lines were your source to inside information on the company, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah, so, anyhow, another segment was the Piper's Pit segment with the Shield. I thought that was interesting, and I didn't expect
Piper, just grabbing Roman Reigns' cheeks and just shaking.
Yeah, that was a good segment all around. I thought, and Piper, that kind of gets the Shield over a little more. Yeah, on the mic, legend in there.
Well, not that. I think it died. I think it's a way of also just keeps continuing the whole eventual breakup of this group, essentially.
Right. Yeah. I thought that was and everybody makes it. Michael Cole makes that clear, and everybody's trying to do that. And then later on, of course, that led to the main event match, which everybody, I think was looking forward to, between CM Punk and Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was a pretty good match. I thought.
Yeah.
Both guys pulling out some, all the stops.
And of course, there was some involvement,
Yeah.
obviously, with the Shield. And
It's actually kind of funny there, though, when you had Ambrose won the interview so many times in the match, but you had Seth Rollins and Randy like, no, let Roman fight it.
Right.
You know, like, this is his fight. Let him
Right.
do it on his own, pretty much. But no, when he speared the Punk, once again, Roman Reigns
Yeah.
is such a nice spear.
yeah,
Looks so vicious in that. I mean, obviously, big things for Roman Reigns
yeah,
is in the future after you just pin CM Punk.
right. Yeah, I mean, a win is a win.
A
here.
win's a win in
Yeah.
WWE. It doesn't matter.
I thought like either like there might be he might get DQ'd and something with the Shield is,
Mhm.
but no, it kind of helped him and he got the win.
Mhm.
Albeit it wasn't totally clean because there was interference.
Yeah.
But I still thought good job, and then we'll see like where this leads to next week. See if Roman Reigns isn't too happy about the other guys getting involved.
No, I mean, like I said, I think we're starting to get some Momo announcements. Obviously, we had two. Batista's the big one right
Right.
now, and of course, WWE announced he's in the Rumble.
Heck, they made a special commercial just for Batista's one.
Oh yeah, Well, it was
Basically,
it was a
almost like
Rumble
saying-
commercial. Yeah,
It's
Right.
basically saying, "Hey, he might win."
Yeah, he won the
Hey,
2005
nudge, nudge, he
Rumble.
might win. Nudge, nudge.
I don't know. I also
thought they were
in that
promoting
same
it.
Paul Heyman promo,
Yeah,
the hype of the return, Batista gets mentioned,
yeah,
and it's funny. The same week, and again, especially to bring this up, Tyler, either there's been rumors that Undertaker's he has a handpicked opponent for WrestleMania now,
Yeah.
and it's Daniel Bryan, or should I call him Daniel Wyatt now?
Daniel Wyatt. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And it's. I mean, I remember when it got brought up originally, almost like the Bray Wyatt thing. A lot of people were always laughing it off, like, "Oh, that's not gonna happen." And all of a sudden, it's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, wait."
Well, now in some ways,
But now it's okay. Well, he's a heel now, because now it's like he'll be happy to be a
Yeah.
Wyatt family member
Right.
essentially.
I mean, there's still that trust issue. That's why it's.
Yeah,
yeah,
there was some miscommunications there,
Right.
but
He has to kind of.
at the same time, there Bray Wyatt didn't get in Bryan's face. He got in Luke Harper's face. It looked like
Yeah.
like blaming Harper for the loss. Like you screwed it up here essentially.
yeah. Now next week, him and
Bray
Bryan
Wyatt gets
are-
the Usos,
yep,
so
are
that'd
gonna
be
team
interesting
up,
to see what
so-
happens. But
yeah. I mean, that seems like an obvious win for Daniel Bryan and Bray Wyatt, but
we'll see. We'll see how
yeah,
this.
we'll see
how
what
this new
how
group.
it
Well, I
shakes
thought
up.
it was going to be last night with just the Wyatt family versus the Usos and Rey Mysterio because those guys didn't have an entrance. So I
Yeah.
thought, okay.
Well, that's what you think. It's one of those.
Yeah.
It's one of those tricks there that they do.
Yeah, that's true.
And what do you know? They poured out wins.
It's like
So
there's no
like,
there's no
the
entrance
old-
to this one guy.
yeah.
Oh, we all know who's winning this match.
Yeah, it's
But then the non-entrance team wins.
yeah, it was a good trick there by W.
Yeah.
A little less predictable, but yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll see how that goes down. Yeah, I mean, because you think some guys now like that were possible opponents for the Undertaker, like Lesnar, and The Rock, they'll probably be busy. The Rock, obviously probably not going to be at this WrestleMania.
No, this is
And-
like no.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it, and Lesnar might have some other feud going now.
Well, like I said, eventually it was going to be Brock Lesnar Taker, but
Yeah.
I think what it comes down to is I think Taker's at the point now where he wants to work with somebody who's safe,
right.
and Lesnar, as he,
Big guy.
I wouldn't say he's a safe. I don't want to say he's an unsafe worker,
not
but
like right back.
but he's a very aggressive
Right.
worker.
You could
I
see
don't
it.
know if maybe a fragile Undertaker wants to work with
Right.
that.
Yeah,
The one thing about CM Punk was that safe worker. What's the next
Yeah.
safe worker to go with? Daniel Bryan.
yeah,
Well, the whole yes gimmick is not going to really win people over against Taker pretty much.
yeah.
So I mean, have a heel Daniel Bryan then. He's part of the Wyatt family. He's part of that creepy
Right.
family then.
I mean, they were still chanting yes though when he came out.
Yeah, I mean,
the fans still say
This,
yes.
It might be, yeah. This might be kind of temporary too.
Yeah, well,
with
yeah.
Daniel Bryan. I mean, like maybe sometime after WrestleMania he'll turn on
Well,
the
like-
Wyatts. I don't know. We'll wait.
Well, that's the
and
thing here
see.
too. Some people think that the whole loss was this is the whole point of the gimmick. That this was a trick by Daniel Bryan to screw the Wyatt
Yeah.
family over there. Now, like I said, this is supposed to be the stable that's going to place the Shield supposedly. So I don't know why you'd screw up the
Right.
stable by making them make a dumb decision like that.
Yeah,
I mean, to me, if Bryan's is going to join the family, make him join the family then, and go for the whole gimmick of him maybe eventually down the line turning. But I don't want to like the first loss all of a
Yeah.
sudden it's the Wyatt family they got so
Yeah.
tricked here by
Right.
Daniel Bryan
Yeah.
essentially.
yeah. Like, he's gonna break off with them before the Shield even breaks up.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think it. Yeah,
I want to have a nice storyline here. I
Right.
don't want this to turn into
yeah.
John Cena joining the Nexus over
Right.
again.
This could
where,
go. Yeah,
Where it's he doesn't really strike from the group. He just makes them look like idiots
Yeah.
now.
yeah. Right. I could see him taking this beyond WrestleMania, and then sometime down the
Mhm.
road, then maybe dissension with Daniel Bryan, but
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the Shield will break up first probably in some form, and
Yeah.
so yeah, I mean that works out with me. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, leads up to WrestleMania, and yeah, I mean that's pretty much what we got right now. It's with the Wyatts and Daniel Bryan, and yeah, I mean next week I don't know what we'll see. I don't know what to expect next week on Raw.
Hopefully, some more Royal Rumble announcements.
Besides,
would be
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think some with SmackDown too. Like I said,
Yeah, something.
I have a feeling the Wyatts are going to be in it. All four of them now.
Right.
I think the Shield's going to be in it. So that's 3 there. Obviously, you hear big about Roman Reigns. Big things for him in the Rumble.
Yeah.
That means a win.
Not
but
a win, but
I think
yeah.
maybe he gets 12 eliminations, which means he tops Kane's elimination record.
Yeah.
Then, I mean,
Yeah,
that's what I think big. But I'm curious who the 12 guys are going to be. Maybe 2 Shield members and some Wyatts maybe. But I mean, obviously the fact that you have Batista getting hyped up to win it all. Hell, I mean, maybe Brock Lesnar. Maybe there's a stare down at Rumble between Batista. Maybe that's how you get this feud going. Because really, Batista Lesnar. I mean, yeah, they both might be going through some ring rust here and there, especially Batista more than Lesnar. But that is a match between 2 big guys that some people have been saying on the internet for a while. Oh, this would be an interesting matchup maybe in the Rumble and
well, Brock Lesnar
at WrestleMania probably.
Right. Brock Lesnar could pull what Goldberg did to him.
That's what I'm saying.
When
Batista's
just screw him up.
Batista comes out number 30, gets F5'd and gets eliminated. Then Batista screws Lesnar in his title match.
Let's just hope we wouldn't have a repeat from WrestleMania 20 of a horrible
match that no one gives
between Goldberg and Brock Lesnar.
Well, you hope not, because Lesnar.
Batista will at least try his best in there.
Well, if he signed a long-term deal, and this means a lot more dates than Lesnar, Batista's not going to be half-assed in anything. Then. Yeah. And Lesnar just signed an extension, like I said, or a new contract even. So, unlike WrestleMania 20, where it was Goldberg and Lesnar and both contracts up, so they just didn't give 2 craps after the match. It was their last match either way. Both had projects they had after the WWE, so they didn't want to get hurt. So why bother being aggressive or risking anything?
Yeah.
But no, I'm of course there's fears of that now. But I mean, there's been some switches here and there. I mean, obviously,
the question would be though, if Batista's out, who would actually win the Rumble?
Like I said, when you hear Bray Wyatt and John Cena still has a title match, and you hear Brock Lesnar say he wants a title match now, that makes you think that Cena's going overward in that.
Yeah.
And then facing Lesnar then.
Yeah.
And then you hear the whole Bray Wyatt rumor. Now, Bray Wyatt is touted at. Do I think they're maybe rushing his main event push right now? Especially since I don't even, as right now, he doesn't like the best in-ring guy of the group. Luke Harper does, and dare say Daniel Bryan's clearly not the best in-ring group now of him joining. But at the same time, it is a new face, and we've always been complaining over and over again how it's the same people in the main event every year. Mm-hmm. So a new face. But if Bray Wyatt's winning, then I think Bray Wyatt should win the main event. Then I think the Wyatts are involved in all big matches with Bryan and Taker and Wyatt and Cena and Luke and Eric Rowan are the tag team or going to face the tag team champions. Maybe we don't get Cody Rhodes and Goldust in Mania. Maybe that's where they lose the belts. Maybe instead. Like if the whole goal is to make the Wyatts become a dominant force and do it at Mania, then fine, do that then. Yeah. Having Bray Wyatt beat Cena for the belt, really would put this group over the top. Yeah. Or maybe Daniel Bryan beating Taker for the streak. I mean, like you want to really legitimize this group, you just have them win out then.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. The Shield, they had them win the U.S. title and the tag team belts, and I don't even think they needed those belts though, especially Ambrose with the U.S. title.
That thing's just sitting around his waist doing absolutely
exactly.
nothing.
Yeah.
But they actually referenced.
Did anybody catch that smile he had when the snake fell on him? Almost like the 5-year-old in him just came out and said, Jake Roberts just put a snake on me.
I just captured the snake skin on him, but yeah, sure. I guess he had a smile.
Well, no. He had like a small smirk. I mean, you could tell he was trying not to let the 5-year-old in him just break out and say because let's face it, Jake Roberts was this over guy back in the 80s, and that so having him come back and having it that was his bit. He always did the people. He would win and he put a snake on you.
Yeah.
So, I mean. Yeah. I thought it looked funny that when did the snake bit with Roman Reigns, the snake almost was about to strike Reigns maybe a bit.
Yeah.
Because usually it's like a tame snake or I don't know how they do.
Snake is fine.
But
the type of snake they had, I think.
I mean, obviously the creepiest thing that Jake Robinson did was the whole feud with Randy Savage where the Snake actually bit Savage.
I mean, that Snake was a constrictor, so it wouldn't have done anything other than constrict. I don't think it's going to constrict Roman Reigns.
No.
Yeah.
A little small, but
yeah.
I think that's why it's usually a safe snake, because they usually go with like a constrictor.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's why it's no problem with laying it down on somebody like Dean Ambrose. It's not going to do anything. It's just going to
just going to shed its skin and you have some. Maybe some snake pellets too. Maybe some, it might shit on you. Maybe too. Like any animal. I'm sure it's terrified of being in front of people.
Yeah.
They bring up Jamie above the PETA joke. I'm always surprised that PETA makes out a statement. Go, we do not condone animals being used in this. It's like you do this. This is this guy's gimmick since like the 1980s, and he's done this
same thing.
He's done this thing over and over again.
And the snake is fine. It's in a perfectly good concealed bag for most of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's not like he's going around and having it bite stuff or anything.
Yeah.
It's literally just laying down on a guy, picking it up, he kisses it, and that's about it.
Yeah.
It's like
except for that one gimmick where they tease somebody actually killing the snake in the bag.
Yeah.
No snake has ever been harmed during Jake Roberts' era.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm a little puzzled too about this. How like Brock Lesnar, if he is he gonna face John Cena again if John Cena wins the belt?
Probably.
But
Randy
to
Orton.
face Orton, he'd probably turn babyface.
Well, here's the thing there too, and this is the problem here where they go. It's unpredictable, but then it's like there's always some big name that you leave out.
Yeah.
Like the original card only was going to be John Cena, Bray Wyatt, CM Punk, Triple H, Brock Lesnar, Taker, and Batista, Randy Orton. But then what's Daniel Bryan going to do in Mania?
Right. Exactly.
So not like the card that I have now, which is I'm keeping Bray Wyatt, John Cena, because I wouldn't change that match really. I wouldn't. Like I said, hell, make that the last match on the card. I mean,
depends if it's for the WWE Championship or not. Because
what?
the WWE Championship should be last.
Yeah, it should be. And it's John Cena. Why not just put the belt back on him then? They already teased the fact that him and Ric Flair are 1-2 in world title reigns right now.
Yeah.
Why not just give him the record over Flair already? Right. You're already teasing the hell out of it for us for years.
Yeah.
Just give him the record over Flair. Why not? I'm sure Rick wouldn't complain at all. He's a big Cena fan, supposedly.
Yeah, they're good buddies. They're drinking buddies.
Yeah, they're drinking buddies for going out. But they have Daniel Bryan against Undertaker, Batista against Brock Lesnar. But also then like, okay, well, what's Randy Orton going to be doing at Mania then?
Yeah.
What's CM Punk going to be doing at Mania?
Right.
Because I just flew out. Let's say CM Punk might still be Triple H, but what's Randy Orton going to be doing at Mania then? I mean,
I don't want to see CM Punk versus Triple H.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm fine with it as long as he gets the win.
Yeah. I mean,
there's that one loss that he has against Triple H, and
Yeah.
that screwy, what was it, Night of Champions main event. And they used to,
time ago.
and
Yeah,
that,
2
other
years
people
ago.
thought that pretty much killed whatever momentum Punk had. Granted, he kind of won it back later in the year, but still, that pretty much killed his momentum. That a part-timer beat him pretty much clean in the middle of the ring,
Yeah.
despite the clusterfuck of interference from Kevin Nash to The Miz and R-Truth and so on. But yeah, no, I mean, so it's Punk and Triple H again, fine. But Punk better win this time.
Yeah. I'm still in hopes that maybe Punk wins the Rumble and
Gets the dream main event.
Yeah.
Like I said,
That'd
that's
be
what we all thought. But then Brock Lesnar comes back.
Yeah.
Now Batista's coming back. Now.
Yeah.
I mean,
It still leaves it open though. Punk could still win because, like we said, if Brock Lesnar interferes with Batista, that takes out 2 of our thoughts. And Bray Wyatt could technically face John Cena on his own. They'd have to figure out a storyline for it. And if you have Punk win, and he could face Randy Orton,
Like I said,
there's so many different routes.
Yeah,
they can go with it right
and
now.
like I said,
The
there's
good thing
still
is,
the
there's
Hulk
multiple-
Hogan factor too that I still think is out there.
They're good enough that they at least have multiple routes because
Right.
unlike last
keeps
year's Mania
everybody
where it
guessing.
was pretty predictable.
You should
Last
hear,
year's Mania was so predictable.
Right.
It was like, oh yeah, we're gonna have a Rock
Exactly.
Cena number 2. Woo!
Yeah.
we'll get this rumor now of Hogan in a match possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly. I've heard rumors now that Rowdy Piper
No.
what's Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 30 now. I've actually heard this, and there were some credible sources coming from this here. And the story is that it'll be 1-on-1. That's right. Rowdy Piper and Hulk Hogan, 30 years after WrestleMania 1, pretty much.
First of all, Piper even admitted on Piper's Pit he's not in good physical shape.
Neither is Hogan.
He said he has mental capacity. Meaning he's good on the mic.
Yeah.
Get in your head. That's it.
But yeah, no. So Piper and Hogan 1-on-1. No, there's rumors of maybe a tag team match. So some young guy, probably Cena, if they don't go with the Bray Wyatt. At this point, Bray Wyatt is a whole lot better than him teaming with Hogan at this point for Cena.
Yeah.
That's his best case scenario right now for Cena in WrestleMania. Against Piper and some young guy that wants to team with Piper. Once again, I feel bad for the guys who got a team with these old guys in the ring here. But that's supposed to be a rumor now of Hogan coming out now.
Yeah.
Just have Hogan make an appearance. Don't put him
Well,
in
as
a
I said,
match.
if you want to fine, make him the host. Just make him the host. It wasn't like The Rock did anything except screw the main event up that year. But just make Hogan the host then. He'll just do some crazy backstage segments with some random stars pretty much. I'm fine with that.
Which is basically what The Rock did.
Yeah. I mean, as long as this is like, kind of like a 20-minute promo in the beginning of WrestleMania,
Right.
cut match times pretty much by doing that. I'm fine with it. I'm fine with Hogan hosting something.
Wow. Remember when 27 was supposed to help promote for 28, though nobody knew it.
Which
That's what actually did.
Essentially, that's
So it
what,
kind of now makes sense. It's like,
Essentially,
okay,
27
we get
wasn't
it,
even a
but-
Mania. 27 wasn't even a Mania. 27 was just a promotion for 28.
Yeah.
In my opinion, that sucked.
yeah,
Well, actually, that Mania did suck.
yeah. I
There
mean,
wasn't much good going on. with
right, yeah.
that.
So, but yeah, I mean, obviously, yeah. There's so many routes they can go here, and
Yeah.
and who knows which way they'll go. And
Like I
in
said,
some ways
I
that's
think
a
if
good thing.
they get the wrong moment, we start getting a clearer path usually.
Yeah, a little clear because there's still the whole does Brock Lesnar face the champion of elimination or whatever match they come up with.
But then, what's the Elimination Chamber going to be used for?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's the thing. We've done this out too. I mean,
Right.
Like I said,
they changed the pay per view. Maybe.
to
who
me,
knows?
if Bray Wyatt, if it's down to the Wyatts, and like I said, maybe Batista. Batista takes out Luke Harper and Eric Rowan, but then Daniel Bryan and Bray Wyatt eliminate Batista, and then they do this whole deal where Bray Wyatt forces Daniel Bryan to eliminate himself,
Yeah.
pretty much. Then people are gonna be saying, well, Bray Wyatt technically cheated to win the Rumble.
Yeah.
Then.
The only thing is though, like,
And maybe then you put Bray Wyatt in an Elimination Chamber match.
Yeah.
Maybe then he gets 5 other guys
Yeah.
to keep his number one contendership for Mania.
Right.
Maybe I mean just something like that for the
They've
Chamber.
done number one contendership stuff.
Exactly, the
Elimination
Chamber.
all the time.
Yeah.
And this could work. It could work.
Yeah.
They might end up.
It's
actually,
believable.
They might
You know-
actually do it at Elimination Chamber anyways, because this whole Brock Lesnar title shot that might actually not even be involved in the
Yeah.
Chamber. He might be involved in a separate match at the Chamber pay per
Well,
view.
since we just
Right.
had heard Paul Heyman say Brock Lesnar doesn't do Royal Rumble matches, I take it that also means Brock Lesnar doesn't do Elimination Chamber
Chamber.
matches either.
Yeah.
It's 1-on-1 for him. That's it.
Right.
1-on-1.
Yeah.
Because he's Brock Lesnar. That's why. Everybody asks questions because he's Brock Lesnar. That's
Right.
why. Enough said.
Yeah. Yeah. Now it seems like he can kind of do what he wants and.
Pretty much.
And Triple H, remember, like, basically invited him out last week on Raw. Was like,
Shook his hand.
he didn't. Yeah, there's no like.
Well,
I run this.
Well, in the words of
you know.
Triple H, it is what's best for business.
Right.
Yeah, but let's do that stare down. Let's make you wonder, oh, God, don't tell me we got Brock and Triple H 4 coming in 30
Yeah.
possibly. Because I don't see how anybody wins that.
Nobody. That's just,
Yeah.
that's going to make 30 belly up.
Especially if you're like, it was reversed now. Like, Triple H is the heel and Lesnar's the face. And maybe they bring that matchup.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what the problem was. It can work, but you got to be the face this time, Brock, and I'll be the heel.
Yeah. Yeah. I
You
don't know. And I mean, for that to happen, I guess Lesnar would turn face, and if Randy Orton wins the belt, keeps the title, and
Yeah.
That'd be a
I don't know,
horrible path
I mean, Brock turns on him
That'd
and
be
then pretty
odd,
much.
yeah.
Like the beast is officially unleashed, pretty much.
right. Yeah, I mean, you never know when that can happen too, because a lot of times Paul like tries to hold Lesnar back, like
Yeah.
one of these times he just throws him aside, and
But all those times when it's like okay, Brock's gonna hurt this guy if I don't step in this ring and tell him to
Yeah.
let go or something like that.
right. Yeah.
Like I said, he's a beast and Batista's the animal, and right there,
Beast versus Animal.
beast versus animal, the beast versus the
Yeah.
animal. Why not?
Yeah. Yeah.
When I see Batista and Lesnar, I'm saying okay, I can see that being marketable.
Yeah.
And like I said, with Daniel Bryan against Taker, I think it's unpredictable now.
Yeah.
Maybe Daniel Bryan could actually beat the Undertaker.
Yeah. I mean, who knows?
It's like this guy's never had a proud WrestleMania moment yet.
Yeah.
He lost in 19 seconds?
18, yeah,
18
yeah.
to
Yeah.
Sheamus. Okay, so he's known for something, really, not nothing positive. Then when he has a tag team match, and
They
27, his match against Sheamus gets moved to the dark match, and that doesn't happen. It
Yeah.
turns into like a a battle royal, which the Great Khali wins of all people.
Yeah, and speaking of Sheamus too, like he could be returning at any given time.
That's what I'm saying.
He could return at the Rumble.
Sheamus probably will return at the Rumble. I'm guessing.
And then
I've seen him do interviews.
Yeah, and then RVD could be back at any time now.
Yeah, but they're
Chris
not
Jericho is still on the outside.
I mean, most of those guys are going to be put in a mid card.
Yeah, they'll probably be. Yeah, I mean,
there's still a lot of guys left that they can try and put mid card.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is probably just going to be a massive tag
Cesaro,
team match over
Sandow. Yeah.
Probably those that agree with the administration and those that are against it.
What's the other guy too? Like I remember one point early in the year, it was Ryback and Taker was rumored that was going to happen, and that pretty much died once Ryback almost killed CM Punk on television. Because, like I said, safe workers is key here, and Ryback has never been viewed as a safe worker. Once again,
they had him on commentary this past.
It looks like he's Mason Langston for the title.
Well, somebody else, Big E Langston. What's he going to do then?
Yeah, it's a good.
I mean, you got so many guys that are still left in there. What are they going to do?
I mean, Langston will probably have a good Intercontinental Championship reign, so I think he'd be facing somebody at WrestleMania. Guess we'll wait and see.
Yeah, we'll see.
So,
I still think that the Shield is going to be a triple threat match at Mania.
Yeah, maybe that'll happen.
The more Ambrose keeps hanging on to that belt, the more you're thinking it's triple threat probably, or maybe 1-on-1. Maybe it's Reigns against Ambrose then.
So the only thing is though,
but then I don't think where does it put Rollins then? I think Rollins has to be in the match.
But with all these matches and that, they're going to either have to extend the time more because I don't even know if they're going to be able to fit it all in.
Well, like I said, it is a 4-hour show. They do have an extra, but you know,
and we know how much filler too that they can put in there too.
The most I've seen them do has been 12 for 4 hours. If they have gone crazy, they could get 12 usually in there.
Yeah.
That usually means some matches only last more than 6 minutes. I mean, like Rey Mysterio, CM Punk was 6 minutes and 26.
Yeah.
Like they do fast, quick matches usually then.
Unless
So the main event still can get 15, 20 minutes usually.
Unless they pull the WrestleMania 20 bit where they add more time on.
The 5 hour? Well, you know, that was unique because it was the 20th anniversary. This is the 30th anniversary. So maybe you do it at an extra hour maybe.
I mean, it worked. You got a lot of the mid-card guys, you know, you wouldn't see probably in that Mania
but at the same time,
it wasn't extended.
At the same time, they do a pre-show that might be an hour long.
Yeah.
Which is almost like your extra hour right there. Maybe you use that to put maybe 2 matches on that might be on the main card.
Like a mid-card, yeah.
But like they'd be mid-card guys, though. Yeah. They still get a paycheck, and that's all they really care about.
Maybe like Sandow or something. I mean, they've already had Sandow in the pre-show. You know. I mean,
it's all a what if. It's just there is a lot of people you want to see FaceTime get something on Mania.
Yeah.
It's a question of is it going to be pre-show or is it going to be something on the actual Mania? Yeah. Because
suppose all they do is have their face show.
The problem is the more single matches
it could be in a backstage.
What the other guy's going to do.
It could be in a backstage segment. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
as long as they get their face on camera, they get a paycheck.
I'm talking like guys like Big E Langston, who's the Intercontinental Champion. I'm talking like Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
We're going to put Chris Jericho in a backstage segment? No, he's going to be in a
actually, you talk about an opponent for Big E Langston, Chris Jericho.
That'd be one.
Jericho is always a big fan of putting over young guys in that.
Yeah.
Big E Langston's this high guy. Want to have the greatest Intercontinental champion, Chris Jericho, versus the current Intercontinental champion.
Yeah, I mean, they could do
that's kind of a passing of the torch moment there.
Yeah. Yeah, they could end up doing that. I don't know.
I mean, because trust me, Chris Jericho and Edge, Chris Jericho has a podcast now, by the way. Apparently, a lot of these former guys that do podcasts now. But he had Edge on. And in part 2 of the interview, they actually talk about how they think Wade Barrett is getting so screwed right now.
Yeah.
And they go back and they actually talk about, Tyler, I kid you not, the tag team match at SummerSlam. Because they remember vividly pushing for the fact that they want Nexus to win and they want Wade Barrett to get the final pinfall. Because they believed that if anybody in that group was going to have a main event success, it had to be Wade Barrett. If there's anybody who was going to be successful out of that group, it had to be Wade Barrett then. But remember how that match finished. It was John Cena in a 2-on-1 scenario. Nonetheless, he took a DD2 to an unprotected concrete floor and still won the match.
Yeah.
In the interview, Jericho and Edge talked about how in the match they actually went up to Cena before the match and said, "John, you can't end the match this way. You'll kill the gimmick, as in their gimmick. You'll kill him." And Cena's like, "No, it's fine. It's going to work out fine. It would still look legitimate in the end." And and they fought all the way, but then eventually Edge and Jericho in the end, we're not going to be in the match at that point. So it's not even all call at the end. So okay, fine, we'll let John do his thing. Well, at the end of the match, John comes back and goes, "My God, you were right. I shouldn't have done that." So, but it's but then Edge brings up, I think moments where he said, I came up with this idea and it looked good on paper. And in my head. And all of a sudden I did it, and I'm like, that just sucked. I should have done it that. Because it makes this guy look bad, which means it makes me look bad. Nobody likes those moments. But I just remember hearing that, and I was in the whole like Barrett could, he might get cut soon. I mean, I'm really at that point now, Tyler, where I think Barrett, I would be surprised if I see him one time in WWE.com now, it says, has Barrett released best luck in future endeavors.
Yeah.
Because really, he's done nothing now.
Yeah. Well, they don't have him do much. I mean, he gets
well,
banged up.
He's doing more than Ziggler. Ziggler wasn't even shown at all.
Oh my God, yeah. Talk about a guy who's also fallen.
Yeah.
But at least Ziggler held a world title. Barrett's never held a world title.
Yeah. Yeah,
as crazy as that sounds.
And now they only have one world title too.
Exactly. So the pot,
pretty good.
The pot is really shrank now for main eventers now. You really, if you're in the main event now, you really got to earn it now. You can't
compete.
And it can.
Yeah.
And in some ways, I mean, it could be a good thing because it can really get a guy over. I mean, because if it'll say like if sometime later this year, Roman Reigns becomes WWE champion.
Oh, he looks very legitimate.
Then he'll be a
lot more legitimate than
people look
Swagger
legitimate.
or Ziggler ever looked, because everybody's like, oh, they won the B world title, not the A world title.
Right, exactly.
When now there is no B title anymore. It's one world title now, essentially.
The undisputed quote.
So if you win it there, there's no oh, well, he did earn it or he did deserve it. No, you win this, you earn it.
Yeah. There's no that's on SmackDown or So I mean it's pretty clear there. So I mean, not too much else really to talk about. I mean, I guess other than throughout each week now, it seems like there's a different spin on these WrestleMania matches. So
exactly,
I guess
and I'm sure next week is going to be
another spin. Next week we could be saying even more different things. So
when Batista makes his return in 2 weeks, that'll be
different.
Definitely.
Because he's not going to come. He's already announced. I mean, it's already been announced. He's in the
Rumble.
So he's going to come back, and now what? He's got to announce something. He's coming back for something. I mean, he's going to have to explain.
As soon as he has a stare down with Brock Lesnar, that match is guaranteed. That's all it's going to take. Him, Brock Lesnar, appointment. That's it. As soon as you see him on camera with Lesnar, that's it. That match has almost been confirmed then.
Right. Yeah. You can lock it down.
And if you see that, and you see Bray Wyatt in, like I said, Bray Wyatt's my pick then to win the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it's maybe a very screwy finish.
Yeah.
That's my pick to win it then, Bray Wyatt then.
Yeah. And then maybe there's like more Shield dissension out of that,
Well, Roman Reigns is my prediction to get the most eliminations.
Yeah, right. I agree.
He'll look
maybe
strong as hell.
Maybe Ambrose will, distract him or kind of screw him over or something.
Yeah.
Well, next week's already going to be dissension with the Shield.
Yeah,
because Roman Reigns won. So it's like, okay, well, Roddy Piper's question has now been somewhat answered. The question is,
who was the strongest guy? And Reigns could say, well, I beat the guy who none of you guys could beat.
Right. Yeah.
But we all know how Ambrose believes he's the self-proclaimed leader pretty much. So, I mean, there's a feud there that they can work with.
Yeah, that's...
I was the guy that got a snake laid on me by Jake the Snake Roberts.
Yeah. Yeah, and
it's like getting started by Austin there. It's one of those things where it's like, it's an old guy, but you know what? This is my hero growing up.
Well, no, I'm just saying, what?
It's like about that. It's like if I got sucker punched by Batman one time. That's my hero growing up. I don't care if he kicks my ass. He's my hero.
Adam West to beat you up.
Well, I would actually prefer Michael Keaton or Christian Bale, or hell, even Ben Affleck. I think he makes a great Batman.
Yeah. So. But I think right now, as far as full-time performers goes, the Shield dissension is like the most interesting thing to me. The most intriguing thing going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, we'll look forward to that next week again. See what comes out of that whole thing with Roman Reigns winning this past week on Raw with some help. So
and the main event nonetheless. I mean, that was the main event.
Yeah.
So, which always shows you how high they are on Reigns.
Yeah. It was against CM Punk.
Once again, Cena doesn't close the show. Someone else does. So maybe even Cena's starting to get an inclusion here. Someone else has to maybe step their game up. But no way, that's guy is if they start advertising. Maybe keep an eye on this guy.
Yeah.
This guy might be going somewhere.
Yeah, which to me is obviously to us probably is a good thing.
And, it's a nice positive change.
Oh yeah, I mean, if Cena's main event's WrestleMania again, which could happen, then it's it is what it is. But at least
I'm fine for there, but then Bray Wyatt has to win that.
Star,
well, he got to be putting somebody over. I do not need to see him win again at a Mania for like the 20. It's not even an undefeated streak, but whatever his number is.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I still have this
10 times. I forget how many times he won.
I still have this feeling in my head that it's official now. Cena will beat Ric Flair's 16-time record. Granted, technically he's like a 20-plus time champion, but we don't count some of those WWE.
exactly.
So technically he's 16. So if he gets 17, he's technically the all-time world champion guy again.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see if they do that again at Royal Rumble, I guess, with Randy Orton, or we'll see if maybe down the road they do it.
Yes.
You know, knowing Cena, he'll probably want to be wrestling for till as long as he can. So,
Yeah, exactly.
He'll be a Ric Flair.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
well, probably not a Ric Flair. I think anyone wants to be Ric Flair.
Yeah, but yeah. I mean, we'll that's something down the road that we'll monitor on the way to road to WrestleMania.
Which we're technically already on.
Which
We're
kind of
on the road to WrestleMania.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about these potential matches. So, but on this continued path to it,
like I said, it gets clearer once Mania's. I mean, once the
I
Rumble's
was going
over.
to say once
Right.
Mania. I hope it's clear by Mania.
I'm sorry.
Jesus.
Once the Rumble's over and we have a Rumble match winner, that's it. You start getting images
more
in your head of,
yeah,
oh, they're going in this direction,
more
then in this
locks
direction.
yeah. So yeah, we'll see how that shapes up and see on Raw, coming up, and maybe SmackDown this week.
Mm-hmm.
See what else comes together here, and see what we're talking about next week as far as potential match ideas. So
Yeah.
So yeah, with that in mind, that'll conclude this first 2014 edition of the Great Wrestling Debate. Thanks for tuning in as always.